Hello everyone and welcome back. Special new Attack on show. We've got a great special guest with us here, co-host. As always, I'm Rob Eve, and we've got...
Demetrius Dennis.
Nice. You got a YouTube page, right?
Yes, I do.
What's that called?
It's called Demetrius Dennis.
Demetrius. How creative.
Yes, that's right.
We've got a fun episode for you, ladies and gentlemen. Break out your bomber coats, your aviators. We're going back to the air. It's time to fly with the new Top Gun trailer and preview review. It's going to be exciting. I'm super jazzed.
Wait, what?
Top Gun. Part 2?
I love fun. I absolutely love
You don't know?
fun.
All right. We're going to educate you on this one here. And then we're going to go with Attack the Web. We've got a very cool fan film. Kylo Ren faces off against Darth Vader in Force of Darkness.
That's going to be a battle.
It's a pretty cool fan film. You're going to want to stick around for this. And then we're going to Be Kind, Rewind. This is actually one of your picks. What's this movie about?
This is Hereditary.
Hereditary.
Directed by Ari Aster. He actually just had a movie coming out called Midsommar. You all should check it out. Not my favorite movie, but we'll get into that a little later.
But Hereditary, you're going to lose your mind. This is a freaky film.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to share it with you. And then we're going to wrap things up. I Miss My MTV. This is a very cool song out from Hobo Johnson. This track's off the hook. I think it's a lot of fun. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. But yeah, he loved it. I love it. Hopefully you love it. I hope you love this episode. Make sure you like and subscribe. Everybody, this is
Like and subscribe.
Attack on Show. I feel the need for speed.
I do too.
None of this is making sense to you, is it?
Nope.
No?
Nope. It just must have something to do with Top Gun.
Well, they waited, what? I think it's like 30 years to come out with a sequel, so I guess that's kind of their own bad.
It's one of life's mysteries, sir.
Obviously, there's a lot of news from the San Diego Comic-Con coming out. One of the highlights is the Top Gun Maverick trailer was released. I'm super stoked. I think there's a whole new generation that are going to start trying to figure out if this is a sequel or not. Good news is Tom Cruise is on like a major high right now. The guy is just putting out unstoppable films. I mean, everything the guy's making is just insane action.
Yes.
So we're going to take a look at Top Gun Maverick.
+30 years of service.
I could listen to that man talk
yeah.
all day long.
Combat medals, citations. Only man to shoot down 3 enemy planes in the last 40 years.
Crash down. Oh, movie's over. That's it.
Get a promotion, you won't retire. Despite your best efforts, you refuse to die.
To be fair, Tom Cruise always follows in his father's footsteps, and he died in a jet, so he really doesn't know where to go. You can't blame the guy.
You should be at least a 2-star admiral by now. Yet here you are. Captain. Why is that?
He should also look old by now. What the hell?
I don't know what's going on. It must be that face app.
So cool! Oh, that music puts chills down your spine.
Right.
Yes, yes! Do you know that?
No, I do not. I don't know anything about this, but it looks cool.
That is awesome. That looks so cool.
The end is inevitable, Maverick. Your kind is headed for extinction.
Maybe so, sir.
But
Not today.
There is Top Gun Maverick. So,
Top Gun, and it's not about guns.
no,
I'm so confused.
No, it's a fighter pilot. That's awesome. Honestly, if you've not seen the original, you need to go back and watch it because you're going to be completely lost in this, I imagine, with all the plot twists that were in the original. No, it's actually a pretty simple base movie. But Top Gun obviously was amazing. There are rumors that Val Kilmer's coming back in this, which he hasn't aged as well as Tom Cruise, so I'm curious to see how that's going to play out.
Okay.
Feel for the guy. And also some early plot points on the Top Gun Maverick, although it didn't really, this is a teaser, so I didn't really dive into it, is that it is supposed to follow Goose's son that Tom Cruise or Maverick is now training. So that teaser was awesome. I was super excited. It's interesting to talk to people about it because, the older groups are like pins and needles. They were like jumping around. They were jumping the couch for this movie. They were super excited. And then the younger generation was like, oh, it's a new Tom Cruise movie.
Oh.
And didn't even know it was a sequel. Cool. So yeah. So
Right.
I'm excited. Trailer get you sold?
Oh, I'm definitely excited. I thought this was another Mission Impossible movie, but it looks a little.
They pretty much
exciting.
all are. They just changed the title. Jack Reacher was like another Mission
Same
Impossible.
movie, different title. The
Cool
stakes
action
are high.
starring Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
So yeah, that was awesome. I'm sold.
Yes.
Stay tuned. We'll be bringing you some more news on Top Gun as it comes out. We obviously announced on Movie Maniac Minute when they first started filming. So we're going to follow this movie till it gets released. So definitely stay tuned. And with that, I think it's time to attack the web.
Attack the web. I think it's going very well.
Well, yeah, I think you're doing very well. You're picking it up quick.
Thank you.
Quick learner over here. It's a prodigy. So we searched the web. We have obviously Star Wars fans here, and there's a lot of fan films out there on the World Wide Web for Star Wars movies. We came across, there's a Kylo Ren versus Darth Vader Force of Darkness fan film that was just released. It's on the Seize the Frame YouTube channel. We've got the link below, so you can click after you watch this episode. Click below. Not yet. You don't want them to leave.
Not yet. Not today.
Not today. So this is a fan film. It's interesting. I think some of the highlights that I took away from it, I thought it was shot very well.
Oh, yes.
I'm not a big fan of the new trilogy that they're working on. I've not been a fan of them. But the highlight of the new movies I always liked was Kylo Ren's look and his voice.
Oh, yes.
It's here.
So a standalone with him I thought was really cool. And they captured it. It's spot on. I mean, the costume design on this movie is exactly from the films.
Oh, yes. And then the setting that they're in a snowy forest.
Yes.
First of all, to pull an effect like that off takes a lot of time and a lot of technique. So for them to be able to do that, I think is groundbreaking.
They blended it well. It almost looked like the same set from the end of episode 7 where they were fighting. It looked like it was the same location.
Yep.
In fact, I will say one, I have a couple knocks, not too many, but it was a good film. One thing I was waiting for when I saw how the set design was looking is the very first teaser that came out for episode 7 had a shot up from behind Kylo Ren where he walked out into the snow and he whipped his lightsaber out and it ignited, was not in the movie. Okay. I was waiting for them to take that chopped scene, like cut that from the preview and blend it, because it had the same look, everything. So I was waiting when he's walking the forest, I was waiting for the... that angry ignition of the lightsaber, but they didn't use it. No fault to them. Maybe they didn't want it. They wanted it all original, which perfectly fine. But when I saw how the set was looking, I'm like, oh, cool. They're going to find a way to infuse that scene in here since it wasn't in the movie.
Right.
But some of the things that you found highlighted in it, I mean, what was it that you enjoyed out of the fan film?
I really enjoyed the fight scene. I thought that was incredible. I think the way they really dragged out some of the scenes where they were holding the lightsabers and then when they were fighting, they got up close. And then I'm all about effects. Like, I make movies and it's like my passion. So when I'm watching a movie, I'm always looking at, okay, how did they film this? How did they do this? What does this lighting mean? What does this setting mean? So in one of the scenes where Kylo Ren has the lightsaber and they put it right up to his face, to have that effect, because I know you have to use a software, it's through After Effects, I believe, but in order to have that effect and then have that glowing light, it was probably...
The reflection.
Yes, the reflection of the lightsaber. I thought that was so cool.
Those little keys and just seeing the 3D of like the snow blowing like in the background and foreground, that takes a lot of work to capture that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was very well done. I do like, for the premise of the story is this takes place before episode 7 where Kylo Ren's still looking for the map. I like the idea that they dive into kind of the backstory, because in episode 7 you catch a glimpse where you think he's talking to Anakin, you don't understand how. This dives into kind of how the Vader presence or the Anakin presence is kind of tormenting him in his brain, where he actually is fighting Vader, and it builds that character a little bit more, which episode 7, they didn't really dive too much into it. It's neat to see this little bit of a backstory, and they do tie it in episode 7, I think, very well, that, they find a location for the map, or they think the map's there, and they're searching for it while he has this dream. And then it blends really well. Even the Stormtroopers' costumes were spot on. They used the new versions, and
spectacular.
The costume design was superb.
It was awesome, and I feel like I finally got what I wanted. Now, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I would say that I'm more so a new Star Wars fan. So to be able to see Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, such a new character, and then such an original classic character, to be able to go head to head,
and not it be a video game.
Exactly. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
The choreography of the fighting, I think it was good. I liked it. I do think there's better fan film choreography out there, like the Scene 38 that's out there. There's a Darth Maul film that has some really wicked lightsaber choreography. This one was good, but I don't think it held up to those fan films.
Okay.
But I did like it. I wasn't by any means bored by it. I thought it was shot very well. Okay. I think they did a good job in filming it. But that Scene 38 just raised the bar when it comes to fan film fighting in Vader's force.
Yeah.
It was just so cool. But this does a great job as far as the story and the look. And like you say, I think a highlight is to see Kylo Ren face off against Vader. You never thought you'd be able to see that, and these guys brought it to you. So definitely, after you're done watching this episode, I'd click the link below and take a look at Kylo Ren versus Darth Vader. So
nice.
Ready for some Be Kind Rewind? This is your pick. You ready?
Oh, I am so ready to talk about
I don't know if I'm ready yet.
Okay. Who can be ready for a movie like that? I mean, honestly, it's just so mind-boggling. All the things that happen, it's just makes me cry.
Let's get the intro. Be Kind Rewind. Yeah. Who doesn't do that on your second hangout with a friend? So in this week's episode of Be Kind Rewind, we're taking a look at Hereditary, which you suggested to me. I didn't know if we could be friends after watching this. I was a little nervous about you, but
it's tough.
Why'd you pick Hereditary?
Man, I picked Hereditary. Honestly, I have a love-hate relationship with this movie. I mean, I love it so much because it's one of the scariest horror movies I've seen in a long time.
Oh my God, what's that?
And it's just depressing, the whole movie, and the tone is just so dark.
Hide the knives when you watch this movie.
Exactly. Now, this Hereditary is everything I wanted in a horror movie. It had scares, and it also had intensity. So I think the movie did a great job with pulling out some of the parts where scenes will get really intense. Like, for an example, when Peter was inside his bedroom and he wakes up to see his mother just standing there with her face.
The bass, the soundtrack to this movie is insane in the way they play it. The basic premise of the movie is, I mean, it starts and a family's grandmother has just passed away, and you kind of find out they weren't too close to the grandmother, and you don't really know why.
Right.
And for some reason, the family, they kind of start discovering more history about the grandmother. You start finding out why, is that she was kind of more of like a Satanist worshiper. Right. And then all of a sudden it's just hell breaks loose at that point, and weird things start happening. Alex Wolff, that you said he plays the son, who's Peter. His character's name is Peter.
Yes.
You might know him from Jumanji. He was the lead kid in that film. But watching the film, I give that guy a lot of credit because I seen him in Jumanji first, and then to watch him in a horror film like this, and he's like a panicked kid. The terror in this kid's face.
Why did you try to kill me?
Is so believable, and you're freaked out for him throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that kid went through so much through that movie.
You okay? So if you're a fan of good horror film, and I like the idea that it's not a grotesque horror film, it's not a slasher horror film, it's a good suspense, plot-driven, well filmed. The directing in this movie is just insane. It's kind of like watching Dark Knight as a comic book movie, but as a legit movie. This is a legit filmed movie that is a horror film. I think when you're watching it, the style of it is just, you're watching a major motion movie picture
Yes,
that
of
this
course.
that you can tell there's a lot of work put into. And like I said, everything from the sound. If you've got surround sound in the house, you've got yourself a good subwoofer.
Oh.
The house shakes. I mean,
Oh,
my
my
house was
goodness.
rattling watching this movie, but it is such a cool tone. It grips you watching this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
It is insane. The reason why I struggle with this movie so much, and I had a love-hate relationship with it, is because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but like it just really messed with, I guess, things that I believe in, and the movie really pokes at your beliefs as well.
Yes.
So it's just like, can you watch this movie and not be disturbed?
Yeah.
As a Christian, I would say no.
I don't even think as non-Christian, like, you will be disturbed. This movie
yeah.
has a lot of disturbing images. They don't shy away from them.
No.
They definitely don't use the Hitchcock, if you don't see it, it's scarier motive.
Right in your face.
They show you it.
One thing I really enjoyed about this movie is the character dynamic and the dialogue. There's this one scene where they're all at the table and they're having this conversation, and then you can really feel for the characters. I thought they had such
yes.
good tone and dialogue. I think that's so important in a movie because you really need to know how to set the scene and set the tone.
Yes. They kept the pacing. It never felt rushed.
Yes.
And a lot of the scenes were long cuts.
Yes.
And the actors, the way they interact with each other was spot on.
I can't accept, and I can't forgive.
And
Yes.
I like the idea too. You know, a lot of horror movies like to use the shallow depth of field and have that moving object in the background. This one did it slightly, but it didn't carry the film. I like that they did use it sparingly throughout. There were a few scenes where it happened, and because it wasn't overused, it really surprises you.
Yes.
You know, it really catches you off, and you know,
Yes.
I like the idea that they didn't use it too much like most horror movies do.
Yes.
I do gotta point out Gabriel Byrne is in this film as well,
Yes,
who
he
plays
is.
probably the most sympathetic father you will ever
Yes.
see in a movie.
Yes, the one normal human being in this movie. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you really feel for him. Toni Collette as well, who plays, she's the daughter of the grandmother, the mother of the family, who is also completely distressed throughout the film.
Yes.
Amazing acting. She
Yes.
had to be completely worn out after filming this movie because her character is just tense,
Yes.
crying, struggling, and
Yes.
just the amount
yes.
of emotion that she poured out on camera, insane.
She was recommended for an Oscar, and I honestly don't see how she didn't get it.
Oh, she was.
Yes, she was in
I didn't find
consideration
that.
for an Oscar. And to be that good of an actor for a horror movie, I mean, that says a lot.
That's
A lot of-
huge because
yes.
horror movies get bypassed all the time.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, that speaks wonders for her.
A lot of horror movies nowadays, they rely on jump scares, and movies like what is it, Insidious Chapter 4, The Nun, movies like that, they just
Yeah.
carry on so many jump scares, and Hereditary really does not rely on that. It relies on complete dread.
Yes.
Through the whole movie, you're just in this unsettling mood of just depression.
Now, one final warning I will give before you start watching this movie. It is on Amazon Prime, by the way, so if you're paying for Amazon Prime and getting the free 2-day shipping, you have the free streaming service. This movie's on there. It's also in 4K, so check it out on that. But my final warning is if you're going to watch this movie and there's anybody else in the house, let them know you're going to watch this movie.
Oh, yes.
And either they need to sit down from the beginning and watch it, or they need to just stay away, because at any point they're going to peek their head in the room and say, "What the are you watching?"
What the hell is
Because
going on here?
you're not going to look normal for watching this movie if someone just
Oh,
pops
yeah.
their head in and you're sitting there watching this film. It's
That's right.
If you don't know the whole premise, none of it's going to make sense when you peek.
Yes.
So warn whoever's in the house, either sit and watch it from the beginning with me, or stay away until you hear the bass stop,
Yes.
like until the music ends. But definitely, I highly recommend check out Hereditary. Demetrius recommended it to me. It was well worth the watch. Obviously, Demetrius is telling you to watch
I'm
it.
telling you,
Yep.
watch it.
So I think we're rolling. This is awesome.
we are.
Are you ready for some music?
I am so ready.
I Miss My MTV. All right, we're on the final segment of Attack on Show. It's I Miss My MTV, my favorite segment of the show. Love this. We find new artists, we bring them to you, we introduce you guys to some good music. We've gotten a lot of great feedback. We've actually met some pretty cool bands through doing this. So hopefully Hobo Johnson follows in the footsteps and we can get in touch with him because, man, this guy can jam. I love this song.
Yes, you can.
It's
So awesome.
Yeah, this is a brand new track. Hobo Johnson's the name. Great name. Catchy.
Hobo Johnson coming right
I feel like my initial thought was he'd be like in a flannel with a giant beard, but no, that's not the case. This is a very cool video, really well shot. The song is called Typical Story. Everybody, check out Hobo Johnson.
He falls apart and he loses everything, and it's the story of the kid who just wants to make a record, loves and crafts it, but nobody ever cares about it. Whoa. Hey, what's your name? Talking's for the guys who hate. We should sit in silence while we think of what to say. Hey, I don't think this is working out, but you forget I even asked you to come over to my house. Hey, I don't think I know much, but I know I couldn't take a good punch. So if you feel like I've been talking enough, just tell me to shut up and I will probably shut the fuck up enough.
Yes.
You can't help but like jump up and down to that one.
just can't
Is that
stop
what you do? Yeah.
moving. Oh my goodness.
That track is way. It's almost like it's like a earlier like Nerd meets Beastie Boys, just cool party. So
Yes.
especially for summer right now.
Yes,
That's
have a
something to
good
put
time.
on. Yeah.
Yes, just
Like,
have a good time.
And the video doesn't take it too serious, which I love.
Yes.
It's a fun video. I love the creativeness of it. It's just somebody having a good time. So like us.
That's right.
Having
We
a good
are having a
time
good
on Attack
time.
on Show. Demetrius, you killed it. This is awesome.
Thank you.
And
I
you killed your
appreciate
drink,
that.
so
I
that
did
means we're
kill my
done with
drink.
this episode. We can't keep recording.
Okay. I'm not drunk.
Not yet. Everybody, thank you for checking out Attack on Show. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Don't keep this fun for yourself. Make sure you check out Demetrius's YouTube channel. What's the creative name again?
The creative name is called Demetrius.
I like it.
Dennis.
I like it. That must have took a lot of time to figure out.
A lot of time. I spent days.
You did
weeks.
great, man. This is awesome. I had a lot of
Thank you.
fun with you. So,
I
ladies and
appreciate
gentlemen,
that.
this is Attack on Show.